Hello, hello.
Oh,
Today it's only two of us.
yep.
Vladimir,
Andrei?
Vladimir and Andrei. Yes, the best YouTube stars on the internet. Today we're gonna continue our series on FivexL open source tools, and we're gonna be talking about a very special tool today, very close to my heart, and it is CloudTrail-to-Slack.
Yeah, but the
Actually,
name is very fancy, CloudTrail-to-Slack. Guess what is it?
it is very clear from the name, isn't it? So it's basically sends CloudTrail events to Slack based on the rules. And I believe that was one of the first open FivexL open source projects that we published out there. And over the time, it did collect some numbers of downloads. We know that there are fans of the tool and the people who use it on a daily basis. We receive the issues and we do receive pull requests from community. So the tool is in use. Vladimir, are you using that tool for any of your projects?
Yes, why not? It's just easy to implement and easy to use and easy to get notifications about the CloudTrail events inside the Slack. It's the simplest way what we did maybe around 4 years ago, I believe. And it's helped us in day-to-day operations. It's not just for security, it's also for development, for IAM policies. If you did something wrong, you will know.
Let's take a look at examples, right? So the CloudTrail is like if you're not aware, the CloudTrail is a system in AWS that records every HTTP, every API call that you do. Like if you're browsing AWS console in the browser, or you're running some tool that would call AWS APIs, everything will be recorded if the CloudTrail is enabled, and you should have it enabled. It's not enabled by default. If it's not, go enable it, because it will help you immensely in case of the intrusion or any kind of cybersecurity incident. Plus, it will help you to debug the stuff you are doing. And the tool was originally developed as some kind of gap stopper. Like if you have a startup, they don't have anything, that's a free and open source tool that they can deploy very quickly and take advantage of CloudTrail with stuff like this. So what we have here is an example CloudTrail event that was sent to Slack. And here we see that someone tried to log in to the certain account and it failed. So the person used the wrong password. And obviously he didn't provide MFA because he never got to that point. But if person managed to succeed to log in, you will get console login succeed, but it's still without MFA, and you should be using MFA. If you don't, make sure you do, because that's like what prevents people from taking over your accounts. And here we can also see that it's being issued to the user, which we don't recommend, but in this particular case we actually have IAM user. IAM AWS IAM Identity Center, also known as AWS SSO, is a much better alternative to using AWS user. So don't do that. Don't do as we do, do as we say you to do.
Yeah, but also where the root users, they still exist, and uh, unfortunately, we can just remove them. I would like to just drop out. But yes, root users also will be here. Like as if someone
Yes.
tried to enumerate and brute force your root user, if somehow they know the email for root
Yeah.
user. So this tool can give you some heads up and just
It,
say
it,
like,
it, will,
oh,
it, will, it will also, like default rules that we have. I will show you the default rules a little bit later. It will also notify you that you have a root login. And if you take a compliance framework like CIS framework for AWS, Center of Internet Security benchmark for AWS, that would require you to have alerts for stuff like root user login. On before reInvent 2024, AWS announced possibility to assume something that would look like a root, so you can do the actions that only possible to do via the root account. By doing so, you don't really need to keep root credentials around any longer. And through that thing, you can actually delete root login credentials, which I recommend you do. But so those was like a security things, but there are also other stuff that you can use it for. So here's another example. So the same user we have here is trying to create SNS topic to test the chatbot apparently, and it's trying to do that in a region, which do we see it here?
Yeah, we
It's
see
a
it.
US
It's
East 2.
explicit
Yeah.
deny in a service control policy. It's an additional thing that added to IAM error messages, why it's actually deny. And we also pass it through. We just pass the whole error message through Slack.
Yeah, so basically what happens here is that's our development AWS organization where we develop and test tools, and we have our landing zone deployed there, and it blocks a number of regions. It actually only allows actions in 2 regions. So, and that user was not aware, he's new to that organization, so he went into the region where he's not supposed to be working, tried to create something there. Surprise, surprise, it's blocked by SCP. And it's probably already triggering your imagination about what could be possible. So, for instance, your organization might have a low list of services that it's possible to use, and everything else outside of the list might be blocked by SCP. So you can see that someone is trying to use the tool, and then you can go and have a conversation with the person. Maybe there is some unfulfilled need with a low list you have today. Another possible use is misconfiguration. So what happens here, like quite often developers would configure something. For instance, they create IAM role, and that IAM role will lack certain permissions, and then you run it, but it's unclear from the, like API can actually fail silently, but underneath it generated the error. So you could see something like this, and that will tell you that there is actually something going on, something is misconfigured, and that gives you a great clue of what it is. The nice thing is it actually tells you what the missing permission is, so you can go and add it to the role that lacks it, which makes troubleshooting is much faster.
I guess especially if you use any kind of tools which wraps AWS API, CDK, serverless framework, Terraform, they can just not pass that errors back to you, and you have no idea. So it's something created or not. But here we can catch all the IAM errors.
Another example here, you might connect third-party tool to your AWS account, and that tool will assume role in your account and start to, like, any security tool nowadays does that. And the roles they give you actually might lack certain permissions, and you will be able to see that. Another example is that if that role is lacking a lot of stuff, then you might get actually a lot of messages. And the latest version, I think it was introduced in version 4. Now it introduced the threads, so we will group similar messages into the threads, and you will not be spammed with many messages in the channel, because time to time, if something breaks, you will exceed the number of messages that Slack allows you to send, and you will just get 429, making it impossible to use the tool. But like grouping helps you a little bit to understand what's going on.
Also, we can mention that our customers who use the tool, they're actually aware of every IAM deny, and they start talking about IAM denies inside the Slack threads. Like, oh, this is a IAM deny here, one in this day. Let's discuss it.
Can you imagine forward to another channel and have a discussion?
Yeah, but can you imagine, like, in your organization, the same discussion about IAM deny, about single IAM deny? Usually, it's tons of them somewhere.
Yep. So what we have here is default rules. I believe they might be a little bit more than that. I did a screenshot of the README we have. You would need to check the code to see the latest. But as you can see, it will notify you on console login if it's failed, and if it's like MFA is not used. We're skipping that for the SSO. So like if SSO something fails, we are not really interested. Then we also notifying on unauthorized and access denied operations. We notifying about the root actions. You really want to know if someone is messing around with CloudTrail. That might be useful. You can also log those with SCP, which we recommend. And then there are like some Lambda stuff that we have here. Oh yeah, I believe we have those here because someone might be tampering with this particular Lambda, so you actually want to know.
If someone changed this redirector itself, if someone update the code or maybe disable it, and throw away the whole code, so you also have to know that. And these default rules, they comes from different projects, from different suggestions. That's how we fulfill the default set. But it's possible to disable it at all. If you don't like our default rules, you can write your own. So.
There is a possibility to add custom rules. You can disable default rules. You can ignore certain rules. You can add ignore rules as well. So like, for instance, you want to keep default but ignore something. That's also possible. There was a number of questions. As you can see them from the name of the tool, it's sending stuff to Slack. There were a number of people asking for the Microsoft Teams support, which might be coming actually. So recently there was some improvements for Amazon chatbot, AWS chatbot, which is nowadays, I believe, called Amazon Q. So everything is now Amazon Q. So that one, Amazon Q/AWS chatbot, can send messages to both Slack and Microsoft Teams. And we're prototyping with another tool that we have, ECS-to-Slack, which has a little bit simpler structure of the messages. If we can make it work and support Microsoft Teams as well. So look for that. That might be coming. If something to happen with this tool is this one.
Yeah, but Slack for us is just simpler because we use Slack for ourselves.
We use Slack
and
everywhere.
We have less experience with Teams, and it's a bit harder to create a development environment. But if you would like to support us, if you have a Teams environment somehow and reach us, you can.
Yeah, and if you want to test early version, that would be great, because then we could see how it works and maybe do small tweaks and adjustments. But I believe it should be very similar since it goes through the AWS Amazon Q. And I think that would actually conclude everything you need to know about CloudTrail-to-Slack, which might soon become CloudTrail to Amazon Q.
Okay, CloudTrail-to-Q. CloudTrail-to-Q. Yeah, who knows? Okay.
Plus, I don't think my voice today can take more punishment. I made it as far as I could with my low, sexy voice. So with this, thanks everyone for watching. Any last words, Vladimir?
No. We are done. We show everything, and please try the tool.
Give it a star, subscribe on YouTube, and till next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.